Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Shut Up David series. Today, I'm delighted to have with me Greg Smith. Greg is a highly respected lawyer at Jackson McDonald Lawyers based here in Perth, Western Australia. With over 2 decades of experience in the legal profession, Greg has established himself as a leading authority in the areas of workplace safety, risk management, and regulatory compliance.
So the fundamental thesis, I guess, in the book, David, is to say that there isn't a metric. There's not a measure. There's not a number. If there was, I remember talking to Mary Conquest on her podcast a while ago. If there was a number, so lawyers have been grappling with workplace health and safety for decades. We're the ones who get brought in. There's been the fatality or the incident or whatever it's been, and we're trying to help the organisation resolve it. But even accepting that, the question I think you run into as an organisation is checkers checking the checkers checking the checkers. So at what point? So there's a case, New South Wales decision called Prospect Electricity, that talks about the infinite regression of supervision. Now, one of the things that I think is interesting in this area is that we don't, well, as far as I can tell, organisations don't aggregate evidence to tell them that their systems are working. So nobody gets an annual report or a quarterly report that says, we have gone and analysed our permit to work system in practice, and we are confident that it is well understood and that it is being implemented correctly, so that you, organisation/board, if you go to Piper Alpha, there was observations in the Piper Alpha case, like the Lord Cullen's review of Piper Alpha, when they talked about the failure of the permit to work system. So the permit to work system failed, critical path, contribution to the disaster. And the process was that the permit to work system and safety people, as it was described in the Royal Commission, the safety people on the facility were meant to monitor the permit to work system. But the Royal Commission observed that nobody was checking the quality of the monitoring. I think I would try to have far more. I think I would do far less incident investigations, and try to do. I would shift incident investigations from a data collection exercise with deep dives into themes. So I would create a checklist that said, we've had an incident, check, very basic checklist about what do we understand from this incident. And I would use that to create themes around the critical risks in the business and critical systems. And then I would commission deep dive inquiries into those critical themes, as opposed to spinning off hundreds and hundreds of minor corrective actions with little impact. Well, I think in some ways, yes, and in some ways, no. So I think what safety looks like from a design engineering perspective probably looks different from what safety means to a frontline supervisor overlooking a work crew. They're probably two different things. But again, from a legal risk management perspective, we're having the same conversation. Do you have proper systems to manage the risks? Are they in place and effective? But probably the worst thing that we do in safety that drives this sort of behaviour is the injury rate data. So I think, and I would align with someone like Drew Ray on this. I think you are better off having no measure than bad measures. And injury rate data is a bad measure. Now, is it worth tracking injuries in your organisation? Yes, it is, because it may reveal insights or trends.
Look, we've been going for nearly an hour, and it's flown by for me. But I'd like to dedicate a bit of time at the end, Greg, and I've had it up on the screen for a little while so people can actually see it. But I wondered if we can dedicate a bit of time to just talking about this new book that you released.
As I said in the book, I don't think I'm going to get everybody to come the full journey with me. But there's two critical questions that arise. This is particularly in an Australian legal context, but I think it's probably universal. And that is, how do we have proper systems to manage the hazards in our business? What do we actually know about that? And what evidence do we have that those systems are in place and effective?